Oh, I didn't.
You guys are welcome to hang out in the dolphin room for another 5 minutes and entertain the dolphins because they like the attention. Just make sure you come back in 5 minutes.
Saturday, 8, 9. It's going to be Saturday, Monday. Go. Sunday. artists.
Quick question. Anybody an expert on Canva? Anybody use Canva? Oh, of course you do. Nigel?
Well, he was
All right, we're about to get started. Everybody have a seat. Welcome to the third C-Scope Achievement and Award Celebration. I am shocked that not only are we still here at the zoo, but we've grown so much that I apologize, parents. I had to restrict the seating, but I'm glad that everybody was able to show up. We have a lot of visitors from out of town. Hi. And I'm very thankful and grateful for you guys to be here. So Leland Brown is going to come up. He is our keynote speaker and our MC for the evening. Sorry about that. And he has come all the way from Denver, Colorado. Okay. And if you don't know who this gentleman is, you will know who he is by the end of the night. Leland Brown, the third.
Good evening. Good evening. As my grandma would say, that ain't loud enough. Good evening. Good evening. Is the evening actually good? It better be. We're here gathered together. With that, you can't spell success without us. And the success that it is to build a community that looks this beautiful, this black, this bold. It's each and every one of you in this space. So I thank you for allowing me to be a part of the success that has already been built here in this community. With that, welcome to the C-Scope Incorporated third annual Achievement and Award Celebration. My name is Leland Brown III, and I am the Director of Community Engagement and DEI at USA Swimming. My job at USA Swimming is similar to all of the jobs that I know you've been tasked with here in this room. It's to save lives, impact communities, and build champions in whatever vision or dreams that the kids around me have. With that, before we begin recognizing the accomplishments made throughout this year of 2024, I'd first like us all to take a look at some memorable moments created this year by looking at these videos to your left and right.
Something positive.
The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.
So while we are getting the technical difficulties figured out here, I would like all C-Scope participants from the year of 2024 to please stand up. I'd like you all to stay standing. If you've been a participant in the past, 2023, 22, 21, as a participant for C-Scope, if you could please stand up as well. Okay, so everybody stand up. Great. We're going to give them a round of applause. Participants, if you could, look at the people at your table, much like we would do at church. Tell them thank you. Tell the people at your table thank you, especially your parents. And if you could give your parent a hug, I would really appreciate that. Thank you. Go ahead and do it. Tell the people at your table thank you and give your parents a hug and tell them thank you. Thank you so much. You can be seated. Parents, I appreciate you. The things that you do, the sacrifice, the commitment, the time, the bandwidth, the energy. Thank you for believing in your kid. And hopefully one day they believe and give the same energy to theirs or someone else's because of what you've done and the investment that you've made. So thank you so much for what you've done.
Thank you.
Who or what is C-Scope Incorporated? C-Scope Incorporated is a youth-serving nonprofit whose mission is to increase diversity in science, aquatics, and marine conservation, to groom up a new and diverse breed of ocean explorers and activists. Its programs give youth that would otherwise not have the opportunity, unique experiences to explore themselves, aquatics environments, such as the ones that create a desire from within to help them make better choices for themselves and for our planet. Not only can these kids swim, but most are scuba divers. I'll say it again, not only can they swim, but most are scuba divers. I'd like to introduce, she needs no introduction, but I'd like to bring up the founder and the CEO of C-Scope, Dr. Allison Brown, to give you a bit more insight into the mission that God has called her to fulfill. Dr. Brown.
Thank you, Leland. So, pretty much, I'd say 90% of everyone in here, you guys have had some kind of interaction with me, but for the family members and the supporters that have come that have not met me, I know you guys would like to know a little bit more about why, because people ask, why Cisco? So during the pandemic, a lot of us were subjected with different stresses that caused us to evaluate, life just in general and why we're put on this earth. And I'm an optometrist by day, which shocks people. They're like, you're an optometrist. Well, not anymore, because God called me to serve in a way where I can reach a community of young people that don't have access to these type of opportunities where they can explore the ocean. I mean, we're in Indiana, a landlocked state. I didn't know about exploring the ocean until, I'm not gonna tell you how old I am, but during COVID is when I began to scuba dive, and I realized the benefits of just being in and around the water. For me, it's submerging, everything's quiet, it allows me to focus, and a lot of stress and anxiety, even my panic attacks stopped when I decided to scuba dive and become a dive master. So I said, hey, let's bring these opportunities to kids in Indianapolis. Well, why not, right? And yeah, they scuba dive, and we have some mermaids in here as well. We'll see them later. But we do start off teaching basic swim and water safety. And that recap video you guys just saw, that was just this past year, 2024. We've been busy. Okay, so I appreciate everyone in this room that has helped us achieve all that we've achieved in 2024 and moving forward. And I really thank you, parents, for believing in me. Some of you parents have been with me since 2022 when we started that spring, and you guys saw, the stress and strain and the frantic behavior come to a point where I'm a little bit more calm as things are getting a bit more fluid, and I have a lot more supporters. So I appreciate everybody in this room. We will be introducing more of our sponsors and donors and our volunteers and dive partners later, but I'm sure you guys are hungry. So we are going to hear from some of our Discover students while we start releasing tables to eat. We're going to start with our silver sponsor table in the back and our two table sponsors tables. Here it is buffet style, and we're going to hear some tunes from Lady DJ Shay and just enjoy ourselves for the next 15 minutes before we hear our keynotes. All righty, so tables 1 and 2, and silver sponsors, you guys can head to the buffet line. Thank you. Oh, announcement about the refried beans. We just found out they're not vegetarian for those that are vegetarian.
Tables 3 and 4. Tables 3 and 4, you are more than welcome now to go ahead and get up and make your way to the food room.
We have a meeting Wednesday. You will explain it out.
Tables 4 and 5. 4, 5, and 6. Tables 5 and 6. You are more than welcome to go ahead and get up and make your way towards the food lanes. Tables 5 and 6.
Oh, I wanted to do it.
I think I called him 3 times. I called everybody.
Tables 7 and 8. Tables 7 and 8. Please It's 12 and 13. The last but greater, not the few. 12 and 13. Please go get some food. I can see the line just bending back over here. And so you all may just want to get in the line and bend it back right here with the guy in the blue. And then you just love the pink cardigan.
Hey guys, I'm Sarah. I'm going to be asking our C-Scope discoverers why they chose the C-Scope Discoverers program to be included. Our first up is Darrell.
Hi.
Speak up, son.
Hold on, really quick, Darrell. So sorry. Can I get a clap? Can I get two? One for me and one for you. Can I get a clap? Can I get two? One for me and one for you. So we know this next segment will obviously be a little noisy because you're eating and you're going to want to have some conversation at the tables. That is more than fine. For this next segment, what we're going to be doing is just walking around this room, and Sarah is going to be asking some C-Scope participants why they chose C-Scope. Why did they want to be a discoverer? So with that, Darrell would be the first C-Scope discoverer to answer the question, why did you choose this?
Okay, so I chose to be C-Scope discoverer because one thing about water that it really features and the C-Scope. Open up our opportunities and provide some advocacy, do underwater development, do biometrics, a whole bunch of other things. Lead management systems.
Okay, where's Carly? We'll come back to Carly. Kenneth. Zach, is Zach it? Hey, bro. Why'd you choose C-Scope? Hey, Zyron. Why'd you choose C-Scope?
As a kid, underwater was always my dream. Like I remember watching Finding Nemo for the first time. I was fascinated by all the different fishes and water and the environment. So my aunt took me to C-Scope and I was like, this is my dream. So I chose C-Scope.
Hey, Brian. Can you tell me why you chose C-Scope?
Oh my God. I choose C-Scope because it helps me with my anxiety. It helps me with everything in life. It helps me on the court playing basketball. And I just really enjoy it. And it's something I would choose to be in the future.
Dr. Rasco. Renita, explain to them what these are. Explain to them later what these are. And I'm putting all four of y'all right here. Sponsor presentations.
Because I like to swim. I love it. So, why'd you choose C-Scope?
So cool what you're doing.
I just like seeing all
Scuba
the
dive
different
from way
types of
back.
stuff.
I love to see.
Jeremiah, why'd you choose Cisco? Do you like concepts?
Oh, seriously.
You talking about that?
So I used to watch this show.
What's it called?
It's called Makeover. Right. My girl, there was two mermen in there, and I'm obsessed with that type of stuff. All of a sudden, I started wanting to swim. And back then, I never used to, I didn't swim at all. And when I came here, found out I had an opportunity to swim. I immediately got interested. That's how. And my brother was already in the program, so I was like, I'm definitely.
Josh, why did you choose Cisco?
Because, I wanted to be in the child.
Zach, why did you choose Cisco?
I chose Cisco because I just thought it was going particular. And I was thinking about it before I joined. It's just that my mom had told me else. And she was like, "Oh, you should try this." I was like, "Okay." And then it really just really that I started liking it. Hired me to keep going.
What's your goal for Cisco?
For me, I just want to learn more about the water aquatics.
All right.
Fun fact about Jason, Sarah taught Jason how to swim. She taught several kids how to swim. Raise your hand if Miss Sarah taught you how to swim.
All right. Carly, why'd you choose Cisco?
No.
Desi, why'd you choose Cisco?
I don't know. I just like swimming.
Decide, why'd you choose Cisco?
Three words. Cisco chose me.
Facts. So a little story behind that table over there, along with Brian. Raise your hand, Brian. So they weren't really supposed to be discoverers. It was from a swim clinic in the summer at Willowdale Boys and Girls Club 2022. They were like 10 years old, 11 years old. And I thought, wow, these kids can really swim. And that's when I decided to lower the age requirement. We started out with an age requirement of 14 and up. And Josiah, Noel, and Brian, they just were that impressive. So they became our youngest scuba divers at 10 and 11. So they've been with us since 2022, so they're some of the oldest divers in the league at Cisco. So while you guys continue to enjoy your meal, I have another recap video. Now these recap videos are coming along, so just enjoy.
Can we get Noelle first?
Oh, yeah, no. I'm sorry.
All right, Noelle, why'd you chose Cisco?
To be honest, I chose Seascope because I've always liked swimming and it's just really fun and it helps me calm down.
Yes, the calm of the water, yes. All right, thank you, Discoverers, for sharing with us why you like Seascope and why you stuck with us and you are still here participating in programming. So again, while you guys continue enjoying your meal, and you guys can go up if you want more, that's fine, it's a buffet. Yes, and those volunteers, you guys don't forget to eat. All right, we're gonna play this next recap video. Bear with me, I'm not a tech person. You said you got it, but you didn't do it. Next year it's gonna be a little bit easier, I promise. So, as I said, these videos are kind of long. Because a lot is always going on. So that was a combination of our discoverers that were becoming newly certified in 2024. So that's why you got some of their names. Those are the newbies. And so we do most of our checkout dives actually in the Florida Keys with Conquer Public Divers. Ashley, owner of Conquer Public Divers in Tavernier, Florida, is back there with my summer sponsors. Thank you. But we did have Jason, who wanted to travel the world and decided he wanted to start with the seas, do his checkout dives in Barbados. So yes, the kids did go to Barbados. So we are always looking for volunteers. So next we'll have Leland Brown come up again and you guys continue enjoying your food. And
I will now be introducing the keynote speaker and then getting away from the podium. Mr. Cortland Butts. Mr. Cortland Butts is a lifetime educator and advocate for equity and social change. He has consulted, trained, and educated C-suite executives, school systems, faith-based organizations, and municipal entities, both domestically and internationally, ultimately leading to the formation of his own creation, Life Guardian Worldwide, LLC. Mr. Butts began his education in the Philadelphia public school system before moving to Orlando. He then earned a Bachelor of Science degree in elementary education from Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, otherwise known as FAMU. While completing graduate school in Iowa, Mr. Butts worked as a project director for an international youth services firm that led him to work abroad. in countries like Spain, Japan, and China. Mr. Butt's commitment to educating children of all races and differing abilities led him to build partnerships with federally funded organizations such as the National Youth Sports Program, YMCA, Boys and Girls Club, and the City of Tallahassee. Upon obtaining his master's degree and following a staff position at the University of Northern Iowa, Mr. Butts continued his calling as an educator, securing a tenure-track position in the education department at Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia. I have to repeat that again. Mr. Butts continued his calling as an educator, securing a tenure-track position at Spelman College, where early childhood and secondary programs emphasize urban education, advocacy, and culturally responsive pedagogy. Currently, Mr. Butts continues to serve his local community by providing aquatic services as a faculty-level trainer for the YMCA and American Red Cross, as well as scuba diving instruction for underrepresented populations, even including diverse candidates with special needs. This work fuels his interest in environmental justice as he prepares youth to become citizen scientists and stewards of ocean through various roles within organizations such as the National Black Association or National Association of Black Scuba Divers and Diving with a Purpose Developmental Group, with an emphasis on coral restoration and underwater archaeology. Everyone, with a loud round of applause, please let's welcome Mr. Cortland Butts to the stage.
Good afternoon. I'm a bit overwhelmed. As y'all can see, this organization has put in a lot of work. I'm honored to be here, but the more that the evening went on, the smaller I felt. I was like, these children have been doing some awesome things. Allison, national, I want to point it out, Dr. Brown, what she's done in the last couple of years, myself and Major are part of the National Association of Black Scuba Divers. They've been around for more than 30 years. We do things with the youth and with the scuba diving community. She's done more in the last 3 years than we've done in 30. Our company, Lifeguarding Worldwide LLC, we engage in both social and environmental justice. The philosophy behind Lifeguarding LLC was in such alignment with Cisco that we ended up, God put us on a path of just crossing each other and walking into each other. I was in Florida doing some work with scuba. Allison happened to be walking out of the scuba shop. I was walking into it, and we just started talking to each other. Next thing I know, I'm here. And she said, you better be here. All right. One of the things I do want to point out, the philosophy of the organization is we take notes from nature, and then I apply them to our social systems. My main gig is diversity, equity, and inclusion work with law enforcement, post-secondary schools, not-for-profits, basically any entity who is claiming that they want and need justice in their organization. Well, what I've had the pleasure of doing was merging social justice and environmental justice into the work that we actually do. Now, like I mentioned before, I said the philosophy says we look at nature first. According to scientists, nature has been around this planet has been around for about 4.5 billion years. It's literally a system, a self-sustaining system in place. So like, if something's been around for 4.5 billion years, you might want to pay attention because it's got some things figured out. So I'll pay attention to those things and I'll apply the lessons in nature to the things that we need to fix in our social system. Real quick, if y'all just think about it, just think it through. One of the things that nature taught us was that anything that is waste is life for something else, period. That's the way that our planet works. When our plants and our oceans give off oxygen, guess who needs the oxygen? Us. When we turn around and use the oxygen, we give off carbon dioxide. Guess who needs the carbon dioxide? The plants. Nature already wrote that for us, and I'm convinced that when we as human beings came up with plastic, if we just turned around and just took that lesson into account when we came up with plastic, when we turned around and said, this thing that we used to dump is so convenient for us, but we have one more thing that we need to add. One more thing we need to add before we put it out in full production. Let's take this lesson from nature and see what is it going to do when it's no longer useful. I believe that we were smart enough, quote unquote, at the time, should we have paid attention to that lesson. So all I'm saying is, all of the work that I do comes from observing what nature has already done and taught us and applying it to those spaces. I think if we kept it up, we wouldn't be in the position that we're in right now. So now we have to empower our youth to take care of some things that maybe we didn't do such a good job about thinking about before. And I want us to consider, and we've already considered, to continue to empower our youth through citizen science for a sustainable future. There is a quote by a gentleman named Gus Beck. Not sure if y'all heard of him. I'm trying to get it right because I had all of my notes on the screen, and then Allison said, there's too many words on the screen. She took it off. So now I have to look them up on my phone because I have my glasses on now. Gus says, I used to think the top environmental problems were biodiversity loss, ecosystems collapse, and climate change, which is true. I thought that with 30 years of good science, we could address those problems. But I was wrong. The top environmental problems are selfishness, greed, and apathy. And to deal with those problems, we need a spiritual and cultural transformation. And we lawyers and scientists don't know how to do that. Well, let me tell you, Dr. Allison Brown and C-Scope, they're doing exactly that. She already laid out that this was God's work and God's calling. And the cultural change that we're involved in right now is that we're introducing this entire world of citizen science to what has been termed marginalized communities. Marginalized in a whole bunch of different ways, but one of them says we have a whole group of people that we are keeping from the healing of our planet. Here's the other thing, for example, that nature taught us. Are y'all familiar with a term called tree farms? And it's not a real big deal. All it means is these trees are lined up in a row to produce over and over again, a lot of times paper and a few other things. For you to have a tree farm, you'll have one species of a tree. You'll clean out, quote unquote, clean out everything else from the land. And the only thing that's growing there is that particular tree. Tree farms take resources. They are not self-sustaining. You have to bring water. You have to bring different forms of pesticides. we bring a whole bunch of stuff to that space, and then we produce the product that we want, and then we get money off of it, and we produce more tree forms. The thing is, the rainforest, very specific parts of the rainforests are so filled with biodiversity. It is the biodiversity itself that keeps the rainforest self-sustaining. So the more diversity, the more it can take care of itself. So if you think this through, and nature has already taught us, why would we turn around and just have one group of human beings trying to deal with the problem? One group of human beings just trying to take care of things, knowing full well that that takes more resources from the outside instead of becoming self-sustaining. So we need to get our human beings that have been marginalized into the space so that we can come up with multiple ways and diverse ideas to deal with the healing of our planet. There's an urgency of ocean conservation. I'm sure y'all have heard and read the numbers. I'm just give you a couple if I can get to it. $8 million tons of plastic enter the water each year. Just hold on to that for a second. Every year, 8 million times 2,000 pounds goes into the oceans each year. Over 50% of our coral reefs have been lost in the last 30 years. Can y'all hold on to that for a second? This planet has been around for 4.5 billion years, and in the last 30, literally, comparatively, milliseconds, we've cut out 50% of the coral reefs. We started talking about the millions of tons of waste other than plastics that enter the system. We want to keep these things protected. We have MPAs, marine protected areas, but only 7.6% of our oceans are protected. The thing is, we have a wonderful opportunity to do something about this. But it has to be that cultural revolution that was talked about a little bit earlier. It's gotten so bad that it, as y'all can see, it enters and actually starts on the land. Most of the places that have trash like this or are near Superfund sites, if y'all aren't surprised, are near communities of color. This is when we started talking about the injustices of the Superfund sites. In those, in or around those Superfund sites, and y'all can look this up yourselves, there are, it just happens to be increased levels of children with asthma, increased levels of folks with cancer, increased levels of folks with different autoimmune diseases. And it's because their environment is impacted. The thing is, if people don't know what's going on in their own environment, and they're not built up as leaders to do something about it, they'll just stay in those same places and continue to suffer. We have to bring our youth in, get them conscious, get them involved, so we can bust all of this stuff up and make sure that we don't have to look at sites like this again. So I had the opportunity, or had the opportunity to work with multiple different agencies. There are agencies that was mentioned a little bit earlier, like Diving with a Purpose, National Association of Black Scuba Divers, Seascope, and several others. This particular group is, I think this is Black Girls Dive doing a cleanup, and we were in Bermuda, all right? So we're trying to get the youth involved as much as we can. This is a presentation that we're actually taking care of at Morehouse College, because my sense is that whatever anybody's major is, I truly believe as human beings, it is our social responsibility to take care of the environment. I think that should be part of our, just the same way that we have English as part of our classes, and here's the way that you can help our planet. Here's the way that you can help the oceans. Here's the way that you can participate in the healing of our home. So I attach or partner with great people like Dr. Brown, creating bigger networks for us to stay on the same mission. The thing is, we can't pull this off by ourselves. It is critical that we reach out and we depend on each other. There's so many things in our society right now that would have us walk this path of individualism, if you will. I got mine, you need to go ahead and get yours. That right there is going to lead us to that tree farm that I was talking about a little bit earlier, where we end up taking in more resources than we end up giving out. So we involve our youth, debris removal as part of the solution. But one of the things we really got to do is start to get at the policies that cause that trash to get in the oceans in the first place. We actually, I was supposed to be in Korea with Dr. Brown, where we had this big conference on dealing with plastics. Fortunately, I became ill and I couldn't make it. But a lot of folks went there because these are the policymakers that are saying we need to go ahead and cut back, but we need to have the juice and the enforcement to pull that off. There are some countries right now that are committed and started programs where they said, you know what, we are not using, single plastic bottles. By the year 2030, we will not use them anymore. We're gonna go ahead and stick to glass. We need to figure some stuff out. So when people start, or entities and countries start doing things like that, those are the things that start to keep keeps the plastic out of the ocean. But at the same time, we still have to deal with the things that were that are impacting us right now. So we got to get our youth involved for us to pull it off. I'm switching lanes, going into coral restoration. Another way we get our youth involved underwater in terms of our underwater ecosystems. Coral restoration is critical because it's the corals that keep our coastlines from eroding. It is also the corals, a lot of people don't know this, we get a lot of oxygen from the plants, but we get even more from our oceans. One of the things that helps are our corals. So the more that we restore those, literally we're restoring life for ourselves. So we have different opportunities. We have young people involved in cleaning and growing with coral farms. And hopefully we can expand these marine protected areas. Like I said, only 7.6%, but if we go back into dealing with policy, those policies will have us expand those marine protected areas. They had this whole thing online about key strategies about getting youth involved. And let me tell you, C-Scope is already doing all of it. All right? So taking them to different places, doing mentorship programs, exposing them to different parts of the sciences is all part of the work that needs to be done. This is me at one of their sites that they frequent a lot down in Florida, continuing training. Our call to action, I would want to say this. Gus pointed out a little bit earlier, and I keep going back to it about this spiritual and cultural revolution. What it is, revolution. I cannot stress to folks enough that we are right now in what's called, I don't know if you heard of it, the attention economy. We got people with big money that said, hey, there's a product called attention, and we can make money off of it. And the thing is, whenever we pay attention to anything, we literally put our life's energy into that thing. I was just listening to something a little bit earlier today, and what it laid out was this. it kind of caught me off guard too. It said, have you ever gotten on your phone and find yourself scrolling because you were supposed to be doing some work and it's 15 minutes later and you're scrolling and you're scrolling and you're scrolling? There are literally marketing engineers that design things that catch your eye to keep you scrolling like that. And what it laid out was you just gave 15 minutes of your life's energy to someone else's work and someone else's mission. That has nothing to do with you, has nothing to do with your mission, and certainly a lot of times nothing to do with healing of this planet. One of the things that it asked us to do, and I'm encouraging this for our young people, is just try this out every now and then. For 10 minutes every day, just focus on what you want to do and who you want to be. And they're telling you, pay attention to yourself for a few minutes. The other challenge is this: should you start scrolling, give yourself a time limit and watch how hard it is to stick to that time limit. But every time you hit the time limit, you are now getting your time back and getting control of your attention. My hope is that we continue to pay attention to our youth and we pay attention to the healing of our planet. I know we can do this. I know we can pull it off. You paid attention. That's what got us here in the first place. And it's my pleasure to go ahead and be with you all here this evening. Thank you.
So let's again give a louder round of applause for Mr. Courtney Buck, because I've been trying to get him here since 2023. Mr. Brooks is very, very busy. And I really appreciate that he was able to swing through. He's one of those gentlemen, like he said, he's involved with a lot of different networks and organizations. Sometimes I don't know what part of the world he's in, literally. And most of the time I catch him, he's at the airport flying to some other country. Call to action, let's literally stop the plastic pollution, the single-use plastic. And I apologize, but this is what the zoo has allowed us to use with those cups. But if I had a choice, I do away with those too. We even paid extra money to have real plates because I didn't want plastic. And the meeting that Mr. Butts was referring to is the United Nations Environment Program's 5th session of an intergovernmental negotiating treaty meeting on reducing plastic pollution that was held in Busan, Korea. So I was able to take a couple of students. One is our very, very, very youngest eco warrior, Miss Nyla Washington. She'll be up later to read a poem for us, but it was very informative because I didn't realize the depths of the issues that we're having globally when it comes to businesses really thinking about themselves first and the money that they're making at the expense of the health of people and our planet. So I do want to share with you guys another video, and it is going to show a little bit of that trip that was taken in Busan and some other adventures that our students actually get to participate in when they are discoverers.
No, no. So there
are 6 different items on different levels that those that the item. As you collect these 6 different items, you got people shooting laser control, you got urge, kindergarten. Yeah. So as you heard from Mr. Butts, reducing our single plastic use is one way we can all do our part in making our world stronger, a little bit better. And as a part of that, the gift that you have been given tonight at your tables in these little green buckets, if you open them up, you'll see that it is a reusable utensil set made of wheat straw. So we can all start doing our part today. My grandmother always said, son, don't rush. You got to get to 1 before you get to 10. So with that, this is just us doing our part just right now. You can use 1 utensil, right? Just use it for 1 meal a day, and then try to use it for 2, 3, 4 until you get it throughout all the meals. But with that, just a little bit about wheat straw. Wheat straw is a waste product of wheat after harvesting, which is usually burned. But now it's being used to make sustainable products. And I don't know about y'all, but that sounds much like Amazing Grace. But to your point, for the trees that give off oxygen, they may not need it, but we do. We give off that carbon dioxide. We may not, but they do. And so I appreciate you giving me that nugget of wisdom to remember that we can all do our part just 1 day at a time. So to that, and with that, I know while all of you are here is for the staff recognition and awards. So we're going to go ahead and get on to that. I'd like to start first by recognizing the team and staff. At this time, I'd like to recognize the entire C-Scope Incorporated team and community. C-Scope Incorporated could not have made and continue to make the impact without its committed board members, executive officers, dedicated aquatics instructors, dive partners, and volunteers. And now we'll take a little moment to recognize them. Board members, if you could please stand. If we could have a round of applause for them really quickly. I'm gonna call you out anyways, so if you wouldn't like to stand up, great, but at least please wave your hand. First, I'd like to call out Shauna Campbell. Next, Erica Jimenez, Vincent Black, and Dr. Allison Brown. Next, for our scuba dive shop partners. Out of the Blue, Divers of Dayton, Ohio, David Pace. Conch Republic Divers of Tavernier, Florida, Miss Ashley Hudson. Diving with a Purpose, whose reach spans from Tennessee all the way to Africa, Mr. Cortland Butts. And then those dive shop partners not present, we'd still like to recognize them and give them a round of applause as well. Those who are not here, but are always present in the lives of the kids are Diver Supply Indy, In Too Deep Scuba of Cincinnati, I love that name. Rogers Scuba Shack of Barbados. And last but not least, Superior Dive Salsa of Dominican Republic. We cannot have underwater explorers without these individuals. The passion that these individuals all possess is shown in how they have made sacrifice for our C-Scope discoverers. They have poured their hearts into our young people, and we can't thank them enough for believing in our youth. Thank you for your continued sacrifice and support. Might we have one more round of applause? With that, there is one more presentation video. And after we show you that, we're gonna get right to the certificates and the awards for the evening.
Sorry, technical difficulty. DJ Shay, can you play some tunes?
Oh.
All right, guess what? Sarah figured it out. Thank you, Sarah. We're gonna be here another 30 minutes. All righty, so we're gonna play our final recap video. So enjoy. right, the moment we have all been waiting for to celebrate these discovered divers. So the ones that have been here before, they know what's next. All righty, so I am going to call your name and you are going to come forward and you are going to receive your certificates. I don't like relying on the internet, so that's why I've done it this way, where I've downloaded these different PDF files, so that's why I said this one. All right, so we started in 2022 in the spring. So there are still some discoverers of class of 2022. Like I said, we have our Willardow kids over there. Y'all will ever be Willardow babies. But we also have some students from some other partnerships. The young lady that was taken to Korea, Patience Prysock, doesn't look like she's here tonight, but she was from our Inner Beauty Program Inc. partnership of 2022, and she was one of 7 students that became a discoverer. And she's our first certified, actually, lifeguard. So in 2022, we did train her up to be able to pass her certification for lifeguard training, and she worked at the YMCA, I think it was the location that's off of 10th and Shadeland, or somewhere near Shadeland. But she worked that summer. Is that Ransford? Yes, Ransford location. So she was our first certified lifeguard, and she also became an open water scuba diver. And as you see, she's been to the Dominican Republic to do plastic pollution conservation work, as well as going to the plastic pollution treating in Korea, Busan, Korea. So missing her today. I hope you're live streaming, watching. All right, now Darrell, when he started in 2022, his nickname was Fat. Yeah, I'm gonna call you out because I love you. Fat, because he was short and fat. But Darrell's had a growth spurt. So Darrell, guess what? We done got you a new shirt. We done got you a new caricature and everything. So come on up. Now these shirts have their names on the back too. They're custom shirts. And he also has a new notebook. On the front of it, it says normal people versus me. And for those that had not been here before, Darrell's a future underwater cinematographer, if you don't know. And he actually helped Traders Point Christian Church do this film.
This place, this time, an echo of doubt haunts my knees. An illusion of control clouds my mind. Regret overtakes my senses. But if I could see, if I could touch, if I could hear, for just a moment. The presence surrounding, the peace overtaking. is flooding in. To feel the presence of Jesus. To hear his voice. To see his glory.
So, as Mr. Butts kind of reiterated, that God gave me this vision for Seascope, and everything that has happened since I started the organization and the corporation and just putting everything down on paper, it's been divine. Every relationship, every connection, every partnership, nothing by chance. And so I actually got a phone call to New Dive Association, which is our Indiana club under the National Association of Black Scuba Divers, to provide equipment and a dive safety officer for Traders Point Christian Church for this film. And they brought in a cinematographer from Los Angeles, and the one thing I asked is, can I have a student shadow? So Mr. Trent Ellis, we thank you again. He's still mentoring Darrell. He donated a camera, an A6, Sony A6. I'm not a photographer person, so, but I know a lot of professional photographers use that brand. Also the camera housing. That stuff can cost $11,000. So Darrell does have equipment, and we're hoping that a certain diver is gonna get in the water with him on these dives, along with the land photography classes he's taken with Mr. Wilder here to get Darrell prepared to just move forward in his career aspirations. So we're hoping that all kids find their particular path in diving, whether they stay recreational as a citizen scientific diver or pursue a career pathway. We just want to be that vessel to assist them find their path. So next, we have the class of 2023 discoverers. Okay, so last year we did honor these scuba babies. And some of them are still here. So we're gonna have Brian come up. Brian was one student that Sarah taught how to swim. And he was unable to swim and started the swim clinic in 2022 at Riverdale. And now he's a scuba diver and he wants to be a biomedical engineer. We have Josiah. Josiah is a junior open water scuba diver. Josiah, we're waiting on you to make your way up here. He hates his photo, but I mean, that's his face half the time. So I love it. I love it. He is, it's nice to see them growing up over the years and just maturing and developing into these exceptional young people. And I'm glad that they're still with that program. Sanaya. Oh, yeah, she moves slow, you guys. Sanaya. All righty, Sanaya, thank you so much. She's a junior open water scuba diver, and she came to us by way of Shiro's program, and we're excited that she did a water safety swim clinic back in 2023, so I'm glad that Sanaya still got with us. She also went to Barbados and had that experience in Barbados where she learned, not only did she finish her open water diving there, but she also learned with other students how to use AI and robotics and underwater video and coding and things to monitor the biodiversity changes in the ocean. So that was an awesome experience. Now we have Zach. So Zach is one of our advanced open water scuba divers. Zach also was the gentleman that was in the video where he was the basket carrier for the U.S. Olympic swim trials. I don't know how much time it took for them to train, but they look like military. And Zach, it was actually Miss Arlene McDonald back there that allowed us to send a student to be a basket carrier for that experience. So really excited that you were able to do that, because that was a once in a lifetime opportunity. And Zach also went to Barbados with us. Him and Darrell are training with YDWP, which is Youth Diving with a Purpose, to do more coral restoration, conservation work. Jeremiah is one of our first mermaids or mer people. And Jeremiah is the reason we actually decided to do a free diving or mermaid class. So what I realized in watching these young people do their free dive mermaid diving experience is that they were finding a different level of peace and calm than I had experienced or seen even scuba diving. So these kids were meditating, breathing in a different way. He held his breath for the first time for his static apnea. That's what they call it, right? Static apnea. What was it, a minute and 34 with his face in the water? Pretty impressive. And he was the only one that actually completed the basic class to go on to advanced free dive mermaid class, because he was able to swim that full length of the pool on one breath. So pretty impressive. So he's the first merman in history, Jeremiah. We also have Noelle. So she started out as a junior open water scuba diver as well, became a mermaid free diver also. As you can see, she has dressed for the occasion. And with Noelle, I would say she literally, just the first time trying the skills. I mean, I'm just in awe. They're putting on a monofin. I mean, your legs are bound, essentially. You have on a tail. I mean, the gracefulness and ease at which these kids just took to this course. I mean, it was just free and seemed very comfortable and just one with the water. I mean, it was mind blowing. So we had one more mermaid, Miss Carly, who she started out with us through IMPD PAL partnership in 2022. And it's funny because I literally saw her the first day at the pool. And you know, I'm taking pictures, you know, for social media. And oh, she dressed for the occasion too. Yeah. But she would pose, like I didn't have to tell her to pose, and she would do that mermaid side pose in the pool. And I told her in 22, I said, you're gonna be one of my mermaids one day. So I was really excited that she could come to the Keys and get involved in this class, and really took to it and really enjoyed it. So it's literally, yes, it's her thing. Now are you gonna scuba dive or what? Okay, she knows scuba dive. We started out with her pool training. With Mr. Dave Pace. She wasn't feeling it that day. She was hungry, so we didn't finish. But we're gonna finish. We're gonna get you certified as a scuba diver as well. Russell. So Russell and Jeremiah are actually cousins, and it was 4 of them, but now there's 2. Then there was 2. Russell has been not just scuba diving with us, but he's been the one most engaged in a lot of the local environmental conservation work with Friends of White River. And he's gone on his own to do invasive species removals and plastic pollution, waste in the White River cleanups. So yeah, I'm pretty confused by this young man because he's always smiling. I remember Joe King. Do you guys know Joe King? Anybody in this room old enough to know Mr. Joe King with Dirty Dozens Hunting and Fishing off the 25th and Meridian? Yeah, you guys know. So Mr. Joe King said, this boy is always smiling, but you never know what he's thinking. But I do know that he's committed to protecting the environment. It's more than scuba diving. To be honest, I don't even know if he really likes scuba diving. I just think he likes the environment and doing something that's going to help the environment. Do you like scuba diving? Okay, that's yours. All right. Now, for our class of 2024, Jason. Jason also came to us through the IMPD PAL partnership in 2022, and he was selected amongst a few of the students to continue because of his swim ability. I didn't know until last year that he didn't know how to swim until Miss Sarah taught him how to swim. I just thought he was a natural. Sometimes when I select the kids to move forward in the program, I just kind of see how comfortable they are in the water. Kind of can tell those kids that think that they're one with the water. He always just seemed to be, one with the water. As far as I knew in 2022, he was the student that got his checkout dives completed in Barbados by Mr. Kramer Wimberly of Youth DWP Care's collective approach to restoring our ecosystems. And he had the luxury of doing his checkout dives in Barbados, but he was also the gentleman that was dancing in the video. But I'll say this, Jason is one of the most polite and respectable young men. I know Darrell got the most polite award at Vincent's during STEM Academy. Between the two of them with the thank you and the yes ma'am, I literally like that other students can kind of see that behavior and model that behavior, because sometimes our younger generation gets a little bit too comfortable. I'll just be honest. So yes, Jason, I'm glad that you were able to continue with us and you finally got you certified, and I hope you can travel with us a little bit more as we move forward with a YDWP Cares partnership. Joshua, now let me tell you about this. Joshua came to us by way of Boys to Men Program 8, okay? My brother was one of the first students in the cohort back in 1996. Is that correct, Dr. Rasco? 91, but 95 or 96? 96. So when Boys to Men contacted me to do a swim safety program, I love this. It's just like, I jumped on it because it's Boys to Men. They're doing this phenomenal work in the community. I remember how they were in the 90s, and I was shocked to see that they were still flourishing and surviving, and it really gave me hope. I'm thinking I can do this for 30 years, and St. Florian Center as well. 30 years, right? 33 years. I mean, it's a lot to run a youth nonprofit, especially working with a community that's often overlooked. Sometimes the resources aren't given to us right away. So I appreciate you guys for giving me that hope to keep pushing forward. And Joshua has been a shining light in all of our lives in Cisco. Caden. Now, Caden wasn't surprised about his caricature because he kind of helped out today. He came a little early. I was hoping it'd be a shock to his parent, get hold his parent. But Caden just came to us because his mom found me on social media. No, mom was in rescue diver training with the rescue dive students. And so she found out about Cisco through them because she was training with them and said, hey, I want to get my son involved. And Caden's been hanging out with us and coming to one of our other programs. You'll get some more awards later regarding that program. You guys will hear a little bit more about it later, but we're happy to have him. He came to us already a diver, so I made it very easy. So he'll be coming on his first summer camp trip with us this summer. Now our lifeguard, Desi, you can bring the baby up. She's an open water scuba diver and a certified lifeguard. What's awesome is how Desi was committed to come to our program, despite this little one here being at her hip. How many parents have watched, what's the baby's name? Aurora, thank you. How many people have watched Aurora at the pool? Raise your hand. Aurora, we are happy that you have your mommy here, because really, she tells you where to go. Desi came through Pivot Re-Engagement Center of the Boys and Girls Club. They're here today as well. Not just the Willard-Dow location has been very influential in the programs that we've run, but the Post Road location where Pivot Re-Engagement Center is held. We've done a partnership that's focused on the workforce development component of programming, introducing jobs with the fire department. So we do have Captain Brian Fleck here. Where are you? There you are. And he came out for the first kind of career exploration day at Willard-Dow, describing opportunities with the fire department. But Captain Fleck's he's captain over the special ops team, which is the dive safety team that goes out into the lakes and ponds and creeks and pulls up things that you guys don't want to think about. But yes, we really appreciate you. Thank you, Desi. Jeffrey, so you notice they kind of look alike. So also from our Pivot Re-Engagement Center partnership, Jeffrey, also very dedicated. He drive his car 100 miles per hour to get to the pool. I know, open water certified and a certified lifeguard. And I'll say with Kenny being our last Pivot partnership, these three, you guys, don't be mad at me, young people. It was the easiest trip with these three. They didn't give me any headaches. They did what they were supposed to do. I didn't have to fuss at them or pop them on the back of the neck. And it made me realize that working with that population 16 to 24 is something that I really enjoy, especially directing them in paths of career, giving them opportunities to get lifelong skills and certifications that can get them jobs. And when I say jobs, Kenny's been working as the lifeguard at Willard-Dow Boys and Girls Club since he's been certified, making $20 an hour. He's also both in a class for a certified pool operator. And then Kenny is also a rescue diver, and he was the gentleman that I felt confident enough. Well, I do everything with purpose. I needed him to have this experience for development, but I sent him to DEMA, which is a diver's specialty convention, like private, like convention. You can't just go to DEMA. It's every year. It was held in Las Vegas. You have to be a dive professional or affiliated with a diving organization, special credentialing. And Kenny sat on a panel for us to tell the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration's National Marine Sanctuary Foundation about sea scope programs. I'm very proud of him. He was nervous. Were you nervous, Kenny? Be honest. Were you a little nervous? He was a little nervous. Yeah, he did. We kind of worked on talking points and things. He did, actually. You did try to give up the day of. He missed his flight that morning because of an incident with police pulling him over, having him and his mother, his child staying outside, not to bring up bad memories, but I mean, who does that? Let's be honest. Why would you have him standing in the rain? His newborn baby, So, yeah. So, I told him, I know he said he didn't feel like going. He wasn't feeling it. And I understood that, but he's very mature and decided he was going to suck it up, get back to the airport, get on the later flight. So I'm really proud of you, Kenny. I'm proud of all of you guys, but I don't know how I would react if somebody had to stand up. And Sarah, who's standing up here, I guess she did know she was next because she saw her certificate. I would like all the rescue divers and lifeguards to come up and take a group photo. So that's Darrell. Also Desi, if she disappeared too. That's okay. I would like you guys to come up and take a photo. The next step past being a recreational open water diver is to go to advanced diver, which isn't really much of an accomplishment, but rescue diver is a big deal. You can actually save a life, okay? So we do want students to be able to have this confidence to be able, oh yes, here comes Desi, you guys. We do want students to have the skills and the confidence to be able to save a life. And it's very important, even if they're not working as lifeguards or recreational divers, that they do understand that the skills that they've obtained is very important and very helpful. It makes me also not stress out as much when I have rescue divers in the water with me. That's great. Actually, Kenny, Darrell, and Sarah, I'd like you to come back up. I'm sorry. I got you guys personalized name tags for your BCDs. Okay. Look, Sarah's smiling. We're gonna talk about Sarah in a second. Okay. So, Darrell, hold those up. So, as rescue divers, I do expect them to go to the next level, right? I'm hoping that they'll go to dive master. That's the level that I'm at. That's the first step to being a professional scuba diver. It allows me to teach intro classes. It allows me to do refresher classes. And the next step would be assistant instructor. But to be honest, I have enough on my plate. So what I prayed for was someone that would be willing and able and actually has the passion and desire to go that instructor path. And Sarah, who has been with me since day one, makes me want to cry, really, Sarah. I don't think I'm so tough on all of the kids, but the staff as well, because I truly believe that God has sent us all together because we're supposed to grow together and develop together. All of us have things that we're working on within our inner selves. And it's not by accident that Sarah's been with us. It was actually a gentleman that's not here today, that's not with us any longer, that referred her. And Sarah's always said she wanted to be a C-scope kid. So being able to work with Opportunity Youth and having funding that opened up to work with students of an older age allowed me to be able to fund Sarah's training to be an instructor. She is training with who is in Cincinnati, and she's been going to Ohio, taking herself on her own to different quarries and diving in conditions I'm not getting into. Let's be honest, maybe that's why I'm not going to instructor. I'm not getting in that cold water. I think one day she was like, it was fine, it was 62 degrees. No, if it's not 84, 82, and Ashley knows if it's 82, I'm freezing. I'm like, can I get a wetsuit, please? 5 mil, 7 mil if you have it. And yeah, so yes, so Sarah, I'm very proud of you, and I hope you know that I love you very much, and you are you're a scuba baby. You're one of my scuba babies. She knows. All right, so we already brought Darrell back up to get his BCD name tag. Darrell is one of the, you're all the only student in this room that actually has full gear. Oh, Sarah, by the way, you do have a gift behind here as well. I forgot, sorry. But Darrell is one of the only students that has, do you have all your gear now? Except the tank, right? Yeah, so I do expect, the tank is next. I do expect Darrell to go on to at least assistant instructor. He's very good at teaching, and I said I wasn't going to call him out, but Mr. Wilder, the photographer, Darrell put him in the pool to teach him how to snorkel. And Darrell has participated in a lot of volunteer opportunities to help out in the pool. I think Darrell was there with you when you were training Jesse and them and helping with the students set up their gear and things like that. So Darrell, you're old enough and ready. Nana, he's gonna be an instructor like Sarah. Sarah, I would like for you to go in this box and pull out one of your other gifts. So, Sarah gets a regulator. She well to start her dive master training in February. So she'll also have a tank. She has her BC wetsuit. You pretty much have everything. Do you have a dive computer? Dive computer. Oh, Darrell, you don't have a dive computer yet? So Darrell's not fully geared out yet. So Sarah's going to be the first to be fully geared out. And that came by way of donation from Mr. Kramer Wimberly of Diving with the Turtles. All right, so Zyron already saw his photo. We love it. Look, Zyron, I had to call the caricature guy in India. I said, hey, we got to get this caricature right. We got to change the hair color because it's color faded in Barbados. It got lighter. Did it get lighter in Barbados? Yeah, it got lighter in Barbados. So every summer, my goal is to send a student to Barbados for 2 to 3 months so that they can get the experience of, number one, if you really want to be a marine biologist, can you be in the ocean every day? I mean, can you? Are you going to love this life, right? Also, with the hopes that they train up to a professional level, depending on just kind of their desire to do so. He was able to participate in some different conservation activities. He also learned how to use the robotic underwater artificial intelligence equipment to do some surveying of the ocean. And did you meet with the marine biologist? You did meet with Ms. Harding, you did. He met with the marine biologist there that does coral surveying. She do coral surveying as well. So he's our student that we referred to Vincennes University. So one of our table sponsors here today, actually sitting at the table, is the dean of the Science and Mathematics and Engineering Department of Vincennes University. They have been very supportive of programming, and we were happy to find that there was a school in Indiana that actually has a marine biology focus. So what I found is a lot of schools have environmental science or earth science programs, but nothing that really has some marine biology focus. So Zyron is there completing his associates, and hopefully after he'll transfer to finish on with his bachelor's so he can pursue marine biology, which has been his dream. Interesting thing is I found Zyron. I didn't find Zyron. Your aunt found me. So his aunt was sitting in a class I was taking to learn about how to write logic models. Fun, right? And his aunt said, "What is it that you do?" Wait a minute. She said it just like that, right? And we're like, "What is it?" What is it? And my nephew, he wants to be a marine biologist. We don't know what to do with him. He thinks he has to move to Florida to go to school, and we don't have the resources to move to Florida. So I was on it. I said, "Tell him to call me today." And I think within 2 weeks, were you in the pool? In 2 weeks, he was in the pool and certifying, like within 3 weeks or less. Something crazy. And I appreciate you, Sandy, because I know you were like, I don't know this lady, and she's about to do what with my son and send him where, and he's gonna do in the middle of the yes. So a lot of you guys had time to get to know me a little bit before giving me your child and trusting me with your child, and I'm very appreciative for all of you guys trusting me with them. With Sandy, literally, I wouldn't have done it. Just being honest, he's gonna go to the middle of the ocean. You're sending him to Barbados, but yeah, I'm very, yep, she said that's his dream, so thank you so much. So keep an advance open Okay, so some of the students are getting these lovely notebooks. I get tired of telling them to log their dives. What's your last dive? How many dives do you have? Zyron, how many dives do you have? He has 60 dives. Wait a minute. There's nobody else in the room with that many dives. Who's the next highest? Darrell, probably. How many dives do you have? See how he's thinking about it? Okay, so how many? Zach, I know you know how many. How many dives do you have? 22. So Darrell, you're higher than him. You're closer to 30. And then we know Sarah's over 30. But so every year I try to figure out what unique gift I can give the students. I decided, since a lot of these places that we venture off to when we're diving, they give us these random patches. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with these patches? So I just decided I'm gonna put mine on a denim jacket. So Zyra, you are the first person to receive a C-scope patch. You can put it on a bag. You can put it on whatever your heart's content. So on a shirt, a jacket, be creative. And I know that he's creative, so I'm sure he'll think of something great to do with it. All right, so next we are going to have several awards, and we're going to move pretty quickly. DJ Shay, you can play some light tunes as we call up these students. The next students that are going to be called up are our Eco Warriors and Surface to Sea students from Girls Inc. So when Miss Sarah calls your name, please come up, okay?
Jordan, Journey, Harper, Sarah, and Prudence. Prudence here. The next is Ocean Guardians, the Dive Club, Josiah Jackson.
Also, we have these neat little coins that the History of Diving Museum gave for the kids. So since these Ocean Guardians actually during their classroom work, which Sarah basically was in charge of, they simulated different things like shipwreck, underwater with fish identification and sea kelp forest and interesting things. So I wanted to give them these coins that have the Florida Keys Spiegel Grove shipwreck on it. Next, Sanaya. Now the Spiegel Grove is like what, 120 something feet. They won't be doing those deep dives anytime soon. Did you, Sarah? You oh, now you want to walk past? And Jeremiah. And Noel. Russell. Joshua. And Kaden. Elizabeth, come forward, please. Next, we'll be having Miss Elizabeth Olson, who is our paddleboarding expert, give out her certificates of completion. Noel. Josiah. Actually, Noelle and Josiah stay up here together and take a pic with Miss Beth. You know y'all do everything together. You guys, here's a secret. So, because they started their water experience together in 2022, and I thought they were the cutest together, I am secretly plotting with their parents to get them married when they're adults. Hey, we're gonna take a picture together. Josiah, come back. Josiah, picture. Come on, play. They're die buddies for life. Those that died together stay together. Next, we're gonna have our water connection camp certificates and our waterway cleanup certificates presented by Scott. He didn't know he was doing this. Alrighty, I'll call the names and you can give them their certificates. Radisha. She's here. There she is. So you know that cute little video where they were dancing, the little TikTok dance? Yep, that's this group. Carly. Radisha and Carly stay together too for a photo. They're actually cousins. Both of them from the IMPD PAL partnership in 2022. And I'm glad they're still with us. Radisha, I like you guys. You guys smile. Jason. So Jason told me, man, I don't want to do it. I don't want to go. And then said, man, that was fun. I can't wait to do it next year. Jason. Brian Parker actually not only participated in the water connection camp with Scott and Miss Kay, who's not here right now, but she will be back. She is in Ghana. She's hopefully watching. Kay, we miss you. But Brian's done some waterway cleanups as well, and I don't know how him and Darrell pulled those tires out of the water, but it's pretty impressive. Did she get hers? I had to. Russell. So Russell, you have one for the water connection camp, and you also have one for the waterway cleanup. And Jeremiah, that day that I sent, this is the funny thing, the day that I sent you guys take a picture together, Jeremiah and Russell to do a waterway cleanup was actually punishment. I didn't know that Russell was going to enjoy it so much. Now, Jeremiah, he's a good sport. He'll keep that smile on his face, even if he can't stand something. But they both did a great job that day. Russell, and honestly, I think Russell would do it any day. Jeremiah, would you do it again? Be honest. See home? Would you? Oh, okay. Yeah, he said, was it punishment for them or me? Thank you, God. All right. Last, we have Eco Warriors Youth Council certificates presented by Miss Kelly and Miss Desi. So our Eco Warriors Youth Council came about because after I make these kids a little bit aware of why it's important to protect the ocean, I realized, what am I going to do with them next, right? So Miss Kelly's been working with us through Steampunk Oceans for 2 years now, providing virtual workshops for the kids. So the ROV that was made, and there's one out there in the exhibit hall area, Miss Kelly and our volunteer, Kristen Belcretti with Care of Midas, she's not here today because she's in the Keys, diving with Ashley Shop, but they've been really, really helpful in doing these workshops virtually and in person at Willardown Boys and Girls Club. So with the Eco Warriors Youth Council, the kids get to continue learning about advocacy, environmental justice, as well as just coming up with a campaign where they can go out to their communities to really promote their community getting involved. Ms. Tia Van Hester, professor at Butler University, I would love for you to come up as well and present these certificates, as you've been very instrumental in the Eco Warriors Youth Program as well.
Zachary. Brian. Joshua. Jeremiah. Kaden. Noel.
And Noelle gets a new caricature shirt because apparently the first one got eaten up by the washing machine. So she said.
Samaya. Josiah. And Sarah.
All right, can we have another round of applause for all of the award recipients? At this time, I'd like to simply thank the people who have also made this happen in a different way. The sponsors, those who give carelessly but intentionally. These sponsors each gave $1,050 so that participants who wish to continue on their path of underwater exploration can continue to do so with further training in ocean science and marine conservation. This summer's Discoverer Empowerment Camp will be held again in the Florida Keys at Marine Lab Environmental Education Center alongside Conch Republic divers. Sponsors and discoverers, when you hear your name called, please make your way to the podium. We're going to try to move through this just a little quickly because I want to make sure you get home. Okay? So with that, again, I'm going to call the sponsor first, and then I'm going to allow for the sponsor to call the student's name.
While you guys are getting ready, I do have some certification cards. Joshua. Joshua, supervised diver, still not open water diver. Let's talk about it. Mom, am I allowed to give him this gift of Sudafed so that he'll be ready the next time he gets in this water? Can I? Okay, she gives me permission. There's your supervised diver certification card under Sudafed for your mom to give you. Okay, and Desi, your cert card, and I'm assuming I have Jeff's around here somewhere. I will find it. And Carly, please come grab your shirt. I apologize for not getting it earlier, but you do have your shirt.
DJ Shay, you are more than welcome to hit some music. Moving on to the next part, and I recognize I say careless and intentional, carefully and intentionally. Thank you all for, I heard the cackles over here. Nobody told me, but carefully and intentionally, thank you. That's what happens when you go off script, okay? But with that, we're gonna call the first sponsor, Nyla Nova Stemversity. Nyla Nova Stemversity. Patience is the recipient. She isn't currently here, so Dr. Brown will accept it on her behalf. Next, Mr. Kurt and Mrs. Jamie Kurt Kaufman. And Darrell. Come on up, Darrell. I know I don't need to say this, but please just say thank you. Give them a hug, please. Next, Marion University Black Leadership Initiative. Brian. And Brian. Where are you, Brian? Come on up.
And Marion University has a biomedical engineering program.
I'll let you.
Okay.
We just need to know which one I have.
Steampunk Oceans, Josiah.
Yeah. You're on this.
We're gonna call while we're taking some pictures because I'm not in these pictures, so we'll just go ahead and move forward with the next person. With that, the next is going to be Campbell, and I would like Sanaya to come on up. Mr. Scott and Mrs. Arlene McDonald. And Zach. R. Brown Accounting and Jeremiah. Jeremiah, I've been wanting to say all night, that suit is bad, brother. You're looking good, brother. A name that we've been fond of all night as well, Comp Republic Divers and Noel.
Funny story, but quick story. Okay, I'm sorry. I know it's late. So, March, we were on our spring break dive training trip, and somehow there was a conversation about going on a cruise. Noelle and Miss Ashley were on the same cruise to the Bahamas, and Noelle found her little hidden, I don't know if they have activities for kids on cruise ships. She found her little hidden ducky that said, "Hi, my name is Ashley." Does that sound like Ashley, y'all? "Hi, my name is Ashley. So come for and they got to dive with sharks together. I mean, who gets opportunities like this? I mean, it's just divine. I mean, you get on a boat going to the Bahamas with your family, and your dive shop best dive buddy is there to take you diving. And her, nobody else could have taken her shark diving. I mean, but Miss Ashley. So that's a special relationship there.
Next is Serena Designs and Carly. Serena Designs is not here. They do not have a person here. However, we're going to have Sarah stand in. Congratulations, Carly. Next, Mr. Scott and Mrs. Kristen Salmon and Russell. Another boy looking bad in that suit, brother. Yes, you are. Yeah. Next, Pivot Re-Engagement Center of the Boys and Girls Club and Jason.
Now, this is Miss Leanne, the COO of the Boys and Girls Club of Indianapolis, and Miss Roche, the director at the Willowdale location. And to be honest, I mean, think about the one thing I need to do my programming, right? A pool, obviously, right? So honestly, I couldn't do C-Scope without these two at all, because without a pool, we wouldn't have programming.
Next, the Boys to Men Program Incorporated and Joshua. Excuse me on the name of this next business. I am a nerd. I tried to look at the phonetic spelling of this business and I could not find it. So I'm going to say both. Kermita or Kermita? Keramita. There we go, and called it. Miss Kristen is not here to present it, so Cassie will be presenting it on her behalf. The next two are anonymous sponsors and anonymous sponsorships, and so we'll just be calling the participant or the explorer's name. The next two are Desiree and Jeffrey. And last but definitely not least, Diver Supply Indy and Kenny.
I'd like to also acknowledge, and I don't know if they're still here, some of our grant funders is Arthur Dean Family Foundation. Haley Logan still in the building. Yay, you're still here, Haley, rocking with us. I have a gift for you guys. And PNC, are you still here? I think she left. But I do appreciate you guys. We're a second year recipient of one of their awards, and we wouldn't have been able to do programming without Arthur Dean because there was an age restriction on some other funding. So in order to continue programming with the young kiddos, and for me to be able to pay for staff as well, Arthur Dean Family Foundation has been extremely supportive. So Haley and everyone at Arthur Dean, thank you. And also our volunteers, we have a lot of volunteers, some that are new to us. Captain Brian Fleck, he's not here, he had to leave. I know we're running over time, but Captain Fleck, you asked about your t-shirt. You'll have to watch this later on YouTube, but you got your shirt and I got one for your daughter. She's like a youth extra small or something. And then Cassie, Desi, and Jason, I finally got you guys some shirts. I know Desi, I think you were waiting on your shirt, but come on up. There is a difference in some of the shirts. The shirts that have dive mask on them, it's because they're actually scuba divers. So Desi, are you advanced diver? Yep. And Cassie and Jason, you guys just finished dive master, right? Yeah, so they're our new dive masters. Miss Tia Van Hester is a rescue diver. She already has a shirt. So you get an extra one this time, but I'm gonna get you a rash guard next time. Speaking of rash guard, so just before we close, I do want to talk about some future programming and activities that we have going on. Mr. Major volunteered some funds and donated to assist with a trip to South Africa. So Mr. Major, go ahead and wave, wave, wave. We are going with Diving with a Purpose to Botswana Bay, South Africa for a cultural youth diving experience with the organization in South Africa called NEWF. And 2 students will be going, Darrell and Zach. Why? They've been working with Mr. Kramer and YDWP, preparing themselves to be citizen scientific research divers in coral restoration. Darrell, since he's pretty geared up and already has a rash guard, Zach, I just didn't have a rash guard for you until today. So guess what? You got a rash guard finally. So they can represent in South Africa. So it's killing me softly that he has braces. So I just noticed them now. Like, when did you get those? His mom didn't even tell me. I mean, we were always talking about his smile last week, apparently. Yeah, okay. So he can really, shine. All right, so our last wrap up is a poem that Miss Nyla Washington is going to read for us. For those that have in your gift bags a notebook, and we do have some extra notebooks available with donation. On the inside cover, we actually have a poem that was written by Concord Public Divers instructor, Miss Lauren J. And Miss Nyla, we need to give you probably the mic off of this. Let me see. I'm just going to try to click through it. Okay. It's so precious here. So she traveled with us all the way to South Korea. When her mother said she was traveling with us, I said, that's a long trip. Is she gonna be able to hold up traveling the way that I travel? So we had to do an entire layover in Hong Kong because I needed to get some pineapple buns. What else did I need to eat? What else did I eat? I had I ate a lot of market food, and for those that know me, that would explain why my stomach is funny all the time. So yeah, she traveled with us and traveled very well, very mature, very polite. I mean, she was hanging with us. I was still impressed. So whenever we have a traveling trip and we need some eco warriors, she's definitely welcome. Very pleasant to be around, and I really appreciate this little one. If you guys don't know, Nyla Nova STEMversity also is a program partner. They're doing STEM programming at the Willowdale Boys and Girls Club with us. They had their first session about a week and a half ago, and I think they had more fun at that activity than they've ever had with me. I mean, Amanda's over here shaking her head. Yeah. Who else thought that was more fun than to see Veronica shaking her head? Oh, okay. Lisa, yeah, tequila. Okay, it was fun. Alrighty, I'm gonna give you the mic on this side, okay? I'll hold it for her. So.
Diving into dreams beneath the ocean gleam. Seascope, the place where young hearts find esteem. Teaching kids to scuba, unlocking hidden sights, empowering futures, reaching new heights. Seascope, Seascope, where dreams take flight, guiding young adventurers through the depths of delight. Beneath the waves, we discover and explore. Seascope, the place where young hearts soar. From coral reefs to shipwrecks, the world unknown. Seascope teachers nurture skills we've sown. With every breath, we learn, we grow, unlocking wonder only the ocean can bestow. Bubbles rising, spears lift high, kids empowered, reaching for the sky. Seascope mission, a guiding light, transforming futures, shining so bright. So join us on this journey, let's dive in as one. Seascope, the place where young dreams are spun. Together we'll create a world of hope and glee. Seascope, where young hearts find their sea.
All right, that wraps up our evening. Thank you, everyone. You guys can check out the Dolphins one last time in the Dolphin Dome. Take some pictures with the backdrop. We appreciate and love every one of you and hope to see you again next year at the 4th annual Cisco Brilliance.
Congratulations, y'all.
Thank you.